Hello and welcome back to another MC Championship video. The date for the next Canon MCC event, which will be MCC 24, was announced earlier this week. So let's talk about it, as well as everything we know so far about the upcoming event. But before we spill the facts, a reminder that only a small percentage of the people who watch the videos are actually subscribed. Do me a favor and check if you're subscribed, especially if you're new around here, so you don't miss the latest MCC news from me. I'm sorry if this video feels like it's lower quality than my previous videos. I'm on holiday abroad, so not on my usual setup, and I'm also sick. But I still hope you learned something about the next event through this video. So on Monday 1st of August 2022, the official MC Championship Twitter account posted saying, "We'll be back in the Decision Dome on Saturday 20th August at 8 PM BST/3 PM ET for MCC 24. Teams will be announced later this week." This is a thread, so there is a second tweet connected to this first one, more on that later. As usual, there are two parts to this tweet, the date and the rough time frame for team announcements. Firstly, the date. For the first time ever in Season 2, the date announcement tweet actually tells us the times the event will start with the corresponding time zones. Despite this, the times remain the same as always, so there's nothing new, but I'm glad that they've finally decided to clear up confusion by clarifying it on Twitter. There's a similar announcement in the official MCC Discord which reinforces this on screen right now. Here's what it says. MCC 24 date just dropped. We'll be back in the Decision Dome on 20th August for MCC 24 at 8 PM BST/3 PM ET. So the two time zones that both platforms referenced are British Summertime BST, used by the UK, which is where the Nox crew, the Team Line MCC, are based, and Eastern Time ET, used by some states on the eastern side of the USA. The start times are therefore 8 PM and 3 PM respectively, as mentioned earlier, but of course there's a chance that you may not be living in these locations. So make sure to use a reliable time zone converter to find out when MCC 24 begins in your local area. The Discord announcement has added this mini feature at the end of the message, which automatically tells you the date and time in your physical location, and changes depending on where in the world you are. More info on how to join the Discord server at the end of this video. Also, focusing just on the event date itself, it looks like there'll be a 4-week gap between MCC 23 on July 23rd and the upcoming MCC 24 on August 20th. This 4-week gap is very common, but actually many people were not expecting it. This is because the date announcement tweet was actually 2 days later than it usually should be when the next event is 4 weeks after the previous one. You see, in the past, when it's a 4-week wait between events, the date for the next one would be announced on the first Saturday after the previous one. So basically, 1 week after the event that just happened and 3 weeks before the next event. But for MCC 24, the date announcement was slightly later, arriving on Monday the 1st of August, when we were probably expecting it on Saturday, July 30th. Because of this delay, many people in the MCC community were worried that we'd once again have to wait 5 weeks for the next event, predicted by some people for August 27th, especially since the MCC 23 date announcement was on a Monday and that event was 5 weeks after MCC Pride 22. Despite this later date announcement, at least we won't have to wait as long as you may have anticipated for MCC 24. Final thing to note about the date announcement is that the event date wasn't the only thing to have been hinted at. The Twitter post in particular also mentioned that teams will be announced later this week. And now we can take a look at the other tweet in the Twitter thread, which says, "That's right, teams will be announced this week, gone speedy mode." While this seems like the teams are coming quickly this time, indeed the space between the date announcement and these teams dropping is now set to be the shortest yet. Bear in mind the date announcement delay. With the event in approximately 2.5 weeks as of uploading this video, we shouldn't be surprised to get the teams sometimes this week. As for most Canon events, this is when teams are announced. Alright, so teams will roll out at some point during the week beginning Monday 1st August 2022. It's well established by now that whenever teams are announced, the first 5 will drop on one day and the remaining 5 will drop the next consecutive day at around the same time, and there's typically a 15-minute gap between each team's announcement. We are left with just 2 likely day pairs for team announcements, either the very common Thursday and Friday pair, which is used most of the time, and if this is the correct pair, then teams should drop on Thursday 4th and Friday 5th of August. Alternatively, there's a chance there's a less likely but still possible weekend pair of Saturday and Sunday, and if this is the correct pair, then teams should drop on Saturday 6th and Sunday 7th of August. Remember that these are educated guesses and they could throw us off by introducing a different day pair instead, like Friday and Saturday, which for team announcements has never happened in Season 2. But if you want my genuine opinion, I think teams could be announced across the usual Thursday and Friday pair, so 4th and 5th of August, because I feel as though that second tweet in the thread was indicating that short gap between date and team announcements, and we don't usually get that cheeky extra tweet, so perhaps it's leaning towards a regular team drop. That practically covers the date and some info about the teams. Now let's discuss everything we know so far about MCC 24. Well, for starters, it's of course going to be a regular Canon event. I'm sure that's well established by now. It's worth looking back at past events that took place around this time in previous years. There have been 2 in August so far, MCC 8 on August 15th, 2020, and MCC 16 on August 28th, 2021. Since neither event was directly linked to the other, in other words, there was no recurring theme, expect MCC 24 to be completely normal with no cosmetic overhaul. However, don't expect a new game to be added this time. Despite MCC 16 introducing grid runners to the MCC games roster, this wasn't to replace a retired game. As a result, there is no reason why a new game needs to be added at this time, especially with a whopping 12 games for Season 2, which is excessive. Also, with Meltdown joining the Decision Dome recently in MCC 22, it's extremely unlikely that the Nox crew will once again choose to add in another game. This therefore leaves us with 12 potential games from Season 2 that could be played in MCC 24. Remember that on the Wednesday leading up to each event, the games graphic is revealed on the MCC Twitter, so we will know in advance which games will be in the upcoming roster. The games graphic usually holds 9 games for most Canon events, and as a result, 3 games are benched entirely, but since only 8 games are actually played, an additional 1 game will be skipped during the event despite being in the decision zone. Here's a reminder of every Season 2 game so far: Ace Race, Battle Box, Build Mod, Grid Runners, Hole in the Wall, Meltdown, Parkour Tag, Rocket Speed Rush, Sands of Time, Sky Battle, Survival Games, and Sketchy the Sinomacafan or TGTTOSAWAF. So let me know down below in the comments which 3 games you think will get benched for this event, and if you're feeling brave, then on top of that tell me the 9th game that players will be able to vote on, but which you think will sadly get skipped for the whole event. Of course, it's possible that there are more than 9 games on the roster, but there shouldn't be less, as in canon events there must always be the chance of 1 game getting skipped, so as to add to the element of luck and surprise, especially for the final choice for Game 8. Furthermore, another game remix is imminent, especially after the last canon event MCC 23 didn't include a remix, which means that so far there's only been 1 canon game remix, which was MCC 21 Battle Box. It has been confirmed by the Nox crew that remixes won't become a regular addition to every single event, but as we haven't seen much outside of the 4 remixes played in the non-canon Pride 22 event, I'm almost certain there will be a remix this time. Indeed, they spice up the game in many ways, meaning there is huge potential for remixes in the future, even beyond MCC 24, regardless of whether there is one this month. Guys, before we end, remember that if you love talking about MCC just as much as I do, then remember that you can join lots of free official social media platforms to do just that, to talk about our beloved Minecraft tournament and all it has to offer. Check the links in the description of this video to join the official Discord server and subreddit page to discuss with other members of this amazing community and post memes or statistics. There's lots you can do. Who knows, maybe you'll catch me chatting there, so if you're interested, make sure to check them out. Now, there's probably a couple of other small hints that we've been given about what to expect from MCC 24, but I've talked through the most important ones here. Good job to Nox crew for developing another great event, and just God's Major for organizing the teams, which should be dropping later this week as mentioned earlier. Well, I've been your host. I hope you found this video informative and enjoyable, and I'll catch you in the next MCC video. See ya!